I'm not an old lady. But I mean, not in that way. Right. Have a lie down, any comfortable position. Feel free to fidget around. I'm just going to check on all the muting. Yeah, good. Any comfortable position. And you, as I say, give yourself the permission to fidget if you need to. Sometimes it's just very hard to find stillness and you kind of got to get all the wheels out. But also stillness is not everyone's best and favourite thing. And it's not necessarily helpful to try and force it. If anything, trying to force it, if stillness is not your thing, trying to force it will quite often result in a sudden sort of explosion of fidgeting later on. And as we're on a Sunday afternoon, what we don't want is to get to the other end of the class and then a feeling of hyperactivity or automatic sort of movements, hyperkinetic movements or whatever happening. So just bring the attention to the back of your body and just check first and foremost that your hips and your shoulders are really supported and they have a feeling of being stretched, sort of opened out. So you're not pulling in, you're not scooping anything, the pelvic floor is relaxed. There's no sense of curling inwards at the front of the body. If you feel a little bit of pulling in and it's not sort of letting go, just keep your sort of connection with that, make a note of it, keep connection with that feeling of pulling inwards and see if it will release, sort of iron out over the course of the movements. It's a useful thing to do. Just find that feeling of openness on the backs of the shoulders, the tops, the chest and the hips. It's a very warm day. It's a warm day in Bristol. I wouldn't call it very warm, but it's warm enough that worrying about getting cold is not really a factor. So in these sort of warmer temperatures, it usually takes a little less time to find a feeling of softness. And let's have 3 just ordinary deep cleansing breaths, inhaling deeply through the nose, looking for a feeling of rising at the front of the body. And then exhaling through the mouth, long and slow, from the back of the throat, really deep exhale, like it's coming from the base of the lungs all the way up to the very top of the lungs. And when you finish exhaling, just see if you can exhale a little bit more. So it's not a squeezing in the sense of waking up abdomen, but more of a squeezing as in just emptying out every last breath. And then taking another deep breath in. Think of it as a sigh of relief or just whatever you want. And before we come to any specific breathing exercises, just start to take an overall view of how you're feeling this evening. So just let the breath sort of ripple through the body the way you want it to, just let it do its own thing. And you take a general overview of how you're feeling this evening, anything that's around. Your thoughts, any emotions, sensations, physical sensations in your body, as well as sort of the more outside of your body things, sounds, temperatures, that sort of thing. So not just, for example, any sort of tight feelings in your actual joints and muscles, but also the sensation of sound, the sensation of light, of temperature, flavor, smell. Just take an overall view to start with. And then draw your focus into this broad sense of myself, how am I feeling? And every time something draws your attention away from me, how am I feeling? Notice what that distraction is, and then gently but firmly bring your focus back towards yourself. Don't overthink it. You're you, and distractions are distractions. So you're settling your focus with you. And distractions, you take your focus to, and then you bring your focus back onto yourself. And if there are no distractions, then it's not a problem. Distractions could be mind wandering as well as sounds or other things. No judgment. Resting with a general sense of self is a skill. It's actually quite a quiet place because your thoughts, your emotions, they're not really the point. Those are distractions as well. So if you sort of start to feel a sensation welling up, an emotion welling up, and you start thinking, yeah, no, this is amazing, I really love this, then that's a distraction. So you sort of notice, oh yeah, there's feelings of real enjoyment here. And then you need to take a step back from those feelings of real enjoyment. So, you know, try and let it be what it is. The feeling of lying here, being you, noticing all those little pops of information that crop up. You may not be able to let them go. That's all right. You keep trying. Have one more moment here. Don't worry about it. Might have been amazing. Might have been me distracting you. But when you are ready, just start to channel all of that focus deeper into the body and settle it on the sensation of breathing. So the experience of breathing here. The experience is a multitude of things that you decide for yourself, that you experience for yourself, but you are focused entirely on the breathing. Not the thinking about the breathing, not the observing of the breathing, but the just lying here and breathing. So take some space, some quiet, and just hone in on that experience, whatever it is for you. Has your mind wandered somewhere? If it has, just for the next couple of moments, with a certain amount of firmness and intention, just bring it back to your next 3 breaths and keep bringing it back. Be firm, be gentle, be decisive. You are just breathing and focused on the experience of breathing. And start to expand your awareness around the breath. So you have a sense of your whole body lying here breathing. Sense of space around you, ground beneath you. All the sounds, all the sensations, all the sort of mental and emotional experiences, thoughts, emotions, whatever is here, just take it all in, a broad picture. You in the middle. Draw your attention towards your in-breath, a diaphragmatic breath, And start to count the length of the in-breath. See if you can make it a count of 6, but don't worry about it. If you can't, any count is fine. An expansive breath. Deep breath in. And exhale long and slow. Count the length of the in-breath. Whatever your in-breath is, see if you can match it with the out-breath. And unless your breaths are currently as huge as they can be, see if you can add a count of 1 to your next 3 breaths. If your breaths are already very long and controlled, as big as they can be, just skip that instruction. See how you go so you can get that extra sip at the top of the in-breath and extra exhale, squeeze at the end of the out-breath. Not muscular, I mean, they're not intense muscular breaths, they are diaphragmatic breaths, relaxing, long. And when you finish your next out breath, just let the breath settle to its natural pattern. If you've got your legs stretched out in extended Shavasana, bring your knees gently up towards your chest, have a rock and roll. In fact, it doesn't matter where your legs are, just have a gentle rock and roll. While you have this little rock and roll, just notice what the status of your breath is. We want it to be long, reasonably balanced and quite relaxed, but not labored at all. It's your choice whether you bring your feet to the floor or extend your legs along the floor. We're going to do just a few rounds of breath synchronized movements, starting with the arms, and we're just going to wave them. So as you inhale, just wave the arms up and overhead. Process, right? So it's about the lengthening of the body in a process rather than how long it is at the top and short it is at the bottom. As you exhale, lower the arms back down by the side. Float them down. The up and down is not important. The journey with the breath counts. As you inhale, if your legs are stretched out, take the arms overhead and now point the toes towards the ceiling. Optional. As you exhale, float the arms down, point the toes away. 2 more like that. So I would recommend in this practice to make it either to just avoid fire today, go for water, earth or air. I would say water or air is the type of practice it is, which means either very floaty and meditative or quite liquid with just enough control, enough muscle to make it control so there's no danger of injury. Groundedness is sort of inherent in the whole practice. Next time your arms go up and overhead, bring the knees in towards the chest loosely, and then lengthen the legs towards the ceiling. Keep your arms up and overhead, press the toes back. As you exhale, float the arms down, point the toes, knees to chest. So both arms, both legs, alternating between pressing the heel towards the ceiling when the legs are up and pointing the toes away from you when the knees come in. If you're going for an air practice, then all of your joints are soft and you're tracing the air with your toes and your fingers. If you're going for a water practice, then you're just going to find a little bit more a feeling of length, but not deep, powerful engagement, just that slight feeling of more control, less softness and airiness. Last one. We're going to finish with the knees in and the arms down by the sides. Big stuff. Let's take the hands onto the knees. Lightly start to circle the knees away from each other and then back in. About 3 times in, 3 times in each direction. Really remember to draw the knees away from the body. The emphasis tends to be on the inwards. But see if you can find that sense of rolling the tailbone right down into the ground as you pull the knees away. So you really get a good pelvic roll with this movement if you pay attention. So don't just think of hips on the outsides, think of that pelvis rolling as the knees come away from the body ahead of you. Pelvis rolls down. One more if you're still going. And let's bring the knees back into the chest and think of that pelvis tipping away. I think unless you've got long arms, it's a little tricky to do this knees to chest, but so you need a loose grip on either your shins or the backs of the thighs. And we're going to pull the knees inwards and see about trying to keep the hips back down on the floor. So it's not so much a knees in towards the chest to make a tiny little ball. It's more of a squeeze of the knees towards the rib cage and the hips pulling down towards the ground. It's a hip compression exercise. It's an odd one. If you don't like it, just go for your standard knees to chest and try to pull your tailbone more towards the ground. But it's a really nice one for the hips if you can find it. Then when you're ready, you can release into your full knees to chest. Wrap your arms as tightly as you want. It can be wrist to wrist or elbow to elbow or hands behind the thighs if you need a little more space. And then try squeezing head towards knees. Make a little roll. So think of it as a spinal movement. If it's not good, leave it out. And then inhale to release. So we've done this as curl ups before. We're not doing it as curl ups now. We're doing it as just a nice rounding of the spine. 3 of these wind relieving poses, very versatile. Roll your head back down. Keep the knees back by the chest, by the rib cage. Draw them out wide and have your version of happy baby, which most of you, I think, are able to bring the arms in between the legs and start to angle the knees down by the ribs and the heels up towards the ceiling. If not, don't worry about it. Just go for a wide leg knees to chest. That hip compression work tends to help a little bit with drawing into a deeper happy baby. Have a rock from side to side. Massage out the upper back a little bit more if your knees are further back. Near your armpits. Make it all feel really comfortable. I'm going in for sort of descriptions of actually quite deep stretches into joints. They're not painful, they're not intense in that way, but they are ways, they are anatomical ways of making stretches we know target certain things. Right, so when you're ready, we're going to put the left foot down, extend the right leg up towards the ceiling for your hamstring stretch. Use your strap if you want to, or if you don't fancy coming into kit at this point, weave your hands as long as they are, shoulders are still on the ground, weave your hands behind your leg. Maybe lengthen out the left leg if that's possible for you, but don't worry about it. Sensation at the back of the leg. Make it fairly switched on, because we're not going to spend ages. If you do like dynamic stretching, you're welcome to spend time here, but what we want is to get into those muscles a little quicker. There's plenty of hamstrings in the sequence, so you can build slowly. Ankle circles while we're here, right leg, handful of ankle circles one way, back the other way. Take some time, be in the sensations. The interesting stuff is happening in the body. We are all used to doing quite mind-absorbing practices. So this is your opportunity to really settle in with sensations that we used to spend more time with. Right, keep your left hip down. Wherever your left foot is, keep your left hip down. Draw your right leg across your body and really make an effort to find the outer edge of that right leg, the sensation there. So you might need to draw the right leg more in towards your chest. Find it. It's a strong sensation on the outer edge of your right leg. Left arm, right arm can go out wide if you need to. Keep the right hip down, left hip down. Try not to let your body roll. And press into the heel, move the leg around to find that glute. It's from the glute, the right glute, all the way down the outer edge of the leg. I know it can be hard to find, I do know that. When you find it, you kind of don't want to be there. So that's sometimes why it's hard to find when you're ready to come back to center. And with that same level of discipline, hips down, Take your leg out to the side and find the inner thigh. The inner thigh stretch is equally horrible, although it is more obviously relieving. You can be using your strap for all of this. You'll be using your hand. If it's easier for you to find and control the stretch with your hand, you can use it. There's nothing to stop you. But if you can't reach, you can't reach, you know what I mean? Let it down. So I've practiced this class before we did it. So I have got a lot more movement in my joints than I did when I first went through these processes. Let it down, right leg out to the side, a little bit more intense. When you're ready, bend the right knee, scoop that right knee in towards your armpit for your hip compression, little frog's leg here. While we're here, I just would like you to notice this posture because we're going to try it standing right towards the end of the practice for those who fancy it. We might even try it sitting. So this is your hip to knee, your hip compression, knee to armpit. It's the base of a lot of really nice balances. Last breath here, and then you can release to center, and we'll switch sides. Left leg in the air. Right leg can stay bent, or stretch it out along the floor if you prefer. Use your strap. Find the backs of your legs, the sensation in your hamstrings, heels pressing up, toes pressing back. Have some ankle circles if you want, but focus on the back of the leg. You can challenge your stretches. You don't have to want to, you don't have to choose to, but if you really want to release muscles, sometimes you have to start challenging them just a little bit more because they're very, very dense, certain ones of these muscles. You don't expect that softness to stay, you have to keep working on it. Stay as long as you need to in each one of these. When you're ready, go across the body with control. Keep both sets of hips down, and you can be holding onto the leg from the thigh, the shin, the ankle, or the big toe if you can reach and still get the stretch. Or you could be using a strap. If your shoulders are riding up, you should be using a strap. The only reason I'm not using one is because I don't want to get up and get it. Also, when I did this stretch earlier, I couldn't reach my toe, but I have stretched it out so I can reach it now. Also, this leg is so tight that if I hold on to my toe, I feel it immediately. So frankly, it's just what you can get to, and being kick free is not the objective. Just in case you're watching it going, well, you can do it without a strap. That's not the point. I'm too lazy to get my strap. Lovely. When you're ready, come back to center, take it out to the side. If you need to spend longer finding your IT band and your outer thigh, feel free. When you're ready, find your inner thigh. Keep both hips down. Ooh, keep it switched on. A little bit of attention there. You might have to roll your foot out so it's still lined up with your knee. Sometimes feet and knees become misaligned and you can't find the stretch for that reason, because the hips are rolling in the wrong direction. Yeah, you do have to waggle these legs around sometimes to find your stretches. Okay. When you're ready, back to center. The left leg, take longer if you want to. Try happy baby again, see how it feels. A lot of time lying down, but when we come up, it's going to be much more fluid work, so I shouldn't worry too much about time lying down here. Have a rock back into your happy baby, have a rock from side to side. If your hips are feeling warmer and more ready for it, you can start seeing if one leg will extend. This is optional, like we're just seeing how happy baby feels, having done a lot of deeper stretches. So it might feel a little sore, actually. Try alternating, stretching the legs out, and then optional, you can go into wide angle pose, which is both legs stretched. Let your hands don't, you can be using a strap for all of this. Your strap can be around the balls of the feet. Sometimes in class, I have people with 2 straps doing this, one on each leg. Lovely. When you're ready, knees come loosely in towards the chest. Just pause, take a moment, because a lot of work into the hips and the inner thighs. So just pause here and have a little soothing roll, whatever you need. Just about time to sit up, I reckon. Really nice. So we're going to come to seated. You can roll back and forth and up with control. You can roll onto your side. Come up to a nice seated position. Hips are well opened up, I should hope, or getting in that direction. So hopefully you'll be ready for deer pose. We're just going to arrange it quite carefully. So what we want is something, and you can be sitting on cushions or propping up with cushions or blocks and propping hips up if you want. I don't really mind about people being wonky here. In an ideal world, to do with just really getting into this, making the most of this work that we've done, we want the left shin sort of lined up with the front of the mat and the right shin lined up the side of the mat. I appreciate that's not going to work for everyone, so that's your approximation of where we're going. And you've got to be prepared to rotate somewhat in this posture. So from here, fingers can go anywhere on the floor where they're comfortable. Just start to pick up the knees and roll them over to the other side. So now your opposite shin is lined up with the opposite side of the mat, and we're sitting tall for this. So pressing the knees down, rolling them up and back into center. So it's a version of wipers, but it's a very connected, thoughtful version of wipers. It's not a relaxed sitting behind you. You're making a Z shape. I suppose you could call it a Z shape. And it's a big movement. Next time, optional, see how you go with this. Next time, your left, back where you started. So your left leg is lined up with the front of the mat, right leg is lined up with the side of the mat. Roll your chest towards your left knee and walk your hands forward over your left leg. See how you get on. You might need to arrange yourself and you might only go a little way. It's like a half pigeon kind of a situation. It depends on how open your hips are feeling. We have prepped for this. Roll down, see how far you go. Doesn't matter if your right hip is kind of floating, and just to be clear, we're not doing this for the purposes of emulating pigeon pose, so there will be a pigeon option later. Just settle in for a breath. If you love this, you're welcome to stay. I'm going to do some more fiddling with this posture. If you want to come out, you can join me. So we're going to come out and I'm going to do a maneuver which some of you are going to hate because it's quite a bit wonky. Left hand stays on the floor in line with the left hip. You can watch first if you want. You sweep your right arm around, you lift your hips and draw into a big back bend. So your hips are pulling up towards the ceiling, your arms pulling back, you're gazing up maybe towards the ceiling. You have to sort of weight bear into your left hand, but you can shift your weight into your fingertips. Lovely. Release when you've done it and had enough. And we're just going to do that on the other side. So take your time, roll your knees. I'm going to adjust my position, but you don't have to. So roll your knees. Opposite leg lined up with the front of the mat. Opposite leg on the side. Turn your chest towards your right knee. And ease your way forward. Ease, ease, ease down. See where you get to. You do not need to come all the way to the floor. Just to wherever you can or want to. Over the legs. So for some of us, there's a limited amount of space there anyway. If you've got a really big, strong, chunky thigh, which personally I appreciate a big, strong, chunky thigh, so you know, you're not actually going to get that far, depending on your physique. You can have your head on a bolster. And really, distance isn't the point. If you really want to get into that right glute, you need to keep drawing your right hip down, back and down, so there's space there. I mean, I'm a good, I think I'm, yeah, a good 8 centimeters off the floor here, but I can switch on sensation in that right glute just by pulling my hip back and down. Breathe deeply. Try and soften and relax. Lovely stuff. When you're ready, if you want to try that big maneuver on the other side, put the hands back in. There's no hands and knees work here, so if you're not wanting to worry about weight bearing too much, there's not going to be much. Right hand in line with right hip, sweep the left arm up and round, lift your hips towards the ceiling. Sort of a, there's a name for this, but I don't know what it is. Gazing up, arm dangling behind you. It's a really nice stretch to the front of that left hip and the flexor there. When you're ready, sweep it back down and forward. Lovely. Let's come into a half butterfly position. Right leg extended, left leg in for just some of our classic stretches that we do here. Obviously, I will give you layering up options for those who like them. So, standard side stretch. Right hand in line with right hip, left arm up towards the ceiling. Extend. In line with the hip to start with, extend. See if you can keep your right toes pointing up. So you are working, keeping that nice stretch into your hamstrings. If your left knee feels a little tight, loosen that grip. You can rest your knee on a bolster or a cushion or something. Extend and relax it as much as you want. If this is not finishing, if you don't feel like you're getting anywhere with this, you can, there are several things. You can go for your standard over the leg posture. So bring your right arm inside of your right leg. Maybe hold onto the toe or the shin or even wear a strap. And then just draw your gaze towards that right toe. Left arm wrapped around behind you. Turn your gaze to the left. Left arm draws up and maybe over, and you might even take hold of the toes if you've got good warmth in your body today. As I said, I've done it once, so I can reach my toes. I couldn't when I did it the first time, so take that as an option. There is another option, and that's to take your right arm over to your left thigh, and without touching your toes, that's going to make it massive, absolutely massive, and take it more into the back of your left hip. So whatever feels good for you. Wherever you are, breathe. See if you can soften on your out breath. These are monster stretches if you start to really go into them. When you're ready, release carefully wherever you are. It's quite big when you've been there for a while. And we're going to pick up that left leg and bring the right leg forward. So we did a posture lying on our back, so we brought our leg in towards the knee. We do it regularly. See if you can bring your, I'll move to the side a little bit so you can see it better. Foot, your left foot closer in towards your hip, but out more to the side. So it's that compression. Just try this, it's just to see. And see if you can sort of reach your body in between your knee and your leg. It's like you're curling up into a little ball. From here, you can use your right hand to pull your right ankle in and just see if you can get a really good, tight compression. Try it. There is a posture here called Marachyasana, and it's a very tight bind actually. So we're not going to go completely into it because tight binds is not really the time. Otherwise, when you're ready, release. I just want to see how tight you can get that compression for yourself and whether it feels all right. Take this left leg over the top of the right leg, ready for your twist. We're going to do both directions. Left hand behind, right arm draws up, turn your chest towards your knee, and then decide whether you're hugging the knee or drawing the elbow onto the outside, your choice. Other toes are pointing up. You can do any variation of this twist that you like. You can go full Lord of the Fishes. You can go for the untied shoelace with the foot on the inside of the knee. Stay tall. That's the only instruction here. Stay tall. Lovely. When you're ready, inhale to center and bring your left arm to the inside of your left leg and draw your right arm behind and rotate your chest to the right. So it's big old twists here. Soften in, stay tall. When you're ready, release. Left leg out, right leg in. Some massive stretches, so you need to keep tailoring them to your level of intensity. Side bend first, same variations. I mean, I'd recommend sticking with variation 1, to be honest. Left hand in line with left hip, right arm up and over. Just find your way into a really tasty side bend. If you then want to find the back of the hip, sweep the side bend forward a little bit towards your outstretched leg with the toes pointing up. You'll find it there anyway. But if you're a person, now I know there are some people who are going to use this video who are really bendy and they need help to find muscle to make it not all bend, this is where you intensify. So you can have left arm on the inside of left leg, hold on to the toes and extend right arm to left toes. And if that's still not enough, you can take your left arm across your body to your opposite thigh. It's a real knot. And if you're looking at me, you can see how crumpled up I am. This is not a good posture for me. I haven't got room for it. Feels good. But in terms of holding it really well, I haven't got room for it. So I do it because it hits the right points in my body, but it's not a good example of how to do this posture. Better to just do the side bend. When you're ready, come back up. Right, massive. Lengthen the left leg forward. See if you can find Marachyasana, just the first version of Marachyasana. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. So right foot comes in towards the right hip, but it's more out to the side. So it's like your froggy leg, basically. Then if you've got some more space, start to shove your body on the inside of that leg. And just see if you can really get in there. So I can, from here, because we've done it once, I'll show you, find, I mean, some of you might be able to do it. Right knee in towards the armpit. Right elbow comes on the, right arm comes on the inside of the right leg, and then you rotate your hand around behind you. So the palm is pointing behind you, thumb pointing up the back. Left arm extends, you're reaching forward, left arm extends with thumb pointing down. Rotate that arm behind you and take hold of both hands and squeeze. That, for those who are watching the video mostly, is your bind. It's an Ashtanga posture, and you can do it standing. It's a variation of flamingo pose, but it's just really good stretch for your hip. When you're ready, twists, your version. Go tall, right hand behind, left arm goes up. Rotate your chest to the right. You can cross the leg if you wish, your choice. And then hug or squeeze your elbow to the outside of your right knee. Breathe, inhale, grow tall, exhale, relax. So some of these stretches have very intense variations that feel really great for some people. They're not necessarily advanced. They look advanced because you have to organize your body in a particular way. Sometimes you need them in order to find a stretch. Rotate, rotate. When you're ready, come back to center. We're going to open the twist. So grow tall, left hand behind, right arm up. Rotate to the right and bring your right hand, sorry, left. Bring your right hand to your lefts and rights, guys. Just twist the other way. Stay tall, chest open. It's a problem with describing these sort of more convoluted postures. One more breath. Whoa, massive. Release. Come to, I would say, easy blissful pose. Knees to chest. Have a little hug around your head, rest your forehead on your knees. Check in. How you feeling? We're going to come up to standing in a moment. Just calm, let everything settle. You can get some real sort of whirling sensations from deep twists and compressions like that. So just see where you are. When you're ready, we're just going to come to standing. We're not going to go through dog. If you want dog, have dog, but I'm just going to come through a very small, heels lifted squat, and it's just to get up to standing. So get there how you want. Ragdoll first. So just make your way into your deep soft forward fold, very, very deep. Push the feet down, dangle the shoulders, dangle the head, wiggle the arms, maybe have some wrist circles here. Leave anything out that's not working. And for the purposes of the video, and actually for those of you in the room, if there's anything you want to intensify for yourself or switch out for yourself, you must. It's your practice, isn't it? You know, I come with a plan, but you guys have been doing yoga long enough to know. When you're ready, halfway lift, any version, fingertips to the floor or hands to shins, whatever you prefer. Keep the hips wide and the spine long. Exhale, standing forward fold. Just nice to have a stretch, but you can skip it if you're not keen. Deep, longer legs, stretch the hamstrings. Keep shoulders and the head relaxed. And when you're ready, you can uncurl as long as you're not intending to stack your spine, or you can soften the knees. Inhale and circle the arms up towards the ceiling. Take your time, whichever version you're doing. When your arms are up, minor wardrobe adjustment. Arms are up, weave your fingers together at the top, palms reach up. Don't let your hips swing wildly, but don't clench into your abdomen too much. Just be a little disciplined. As you exhale, take your upper body over to the side, the swaying palm. Just going to flow straight in here. Inhale to center. Exhale other side. Inhale to center. Exhale, step the legs out to medium width, about the width of the mat maximum, but you're probably working lengthways for this. Toes out, heels in. Exhale, sit into a squat. Palms together, hands to heart, knees wide. Keep driving those knees out, don't let them collapse. We're not staying for long. Inhale to circle the arms up. Heels behind, toes now, so outer edges of the feet are even with the mat. Hands come to hips for a wide leg forward fold, nice flat back. So tense your thighs a little bit, extend forward, and then exhale as you come all the rest of the way. So take these movements slowly with a little control so you get a really good stretch, but no risk of injury. If you like a very deep fold for the purposes of the video, you can shuffle your legs wider at this stage, but we're not staying for long. Just take enough time to really enjoy how hopefully well stretched your legs are feeling. Little tension in the thighs. Come to a halfway lift. Walk your hands over towards your right foot or wrap them around your right shin if your hands are not near the ground, or your right thigh. Just take this little side stretch here and go back the other way. So we're quite lifted here, heads above the heart, we're not dangling. Lovely, come back to center. This time walk your hands all the way around to the right edge of the mat. So we're now facing the right edge of the mat, ready for pyramid pose. Your right toes are facing right, left toes are also facing right. You might have to tuck your left foot forward a little bit and just lengthen. You can be high up, legs are long, you can be high up with your hands on your thighs, shins fall right the way down by the floor, leg stretch, and it's hamstring stretch, pyramid pose. You can have a little bend in your front knee if you need to, but relax your shoulders in your head. Don't weight there into your hands, use your feet. Lovely. When you're ready, inhale to come up a little higher, turn your left toes to the short edge of to the left, basically. Bend your right knee and wave your way up to warrior two. So warrior two on the right side, right knee bent. You can arrange yourself in or flow in, it's your choice. Take a breath here. Go softly. Reverse warrior on your inhale. Back to warrior two. Come back to facing the front of the mat, heels in, toes out. Prayer squat, soft. Take your time, ease in, and then circle up. Inhale to circle up, exhale to circle down, and go softly. Think of it as massaging into the hips rather than hammering into whatever you would in this posture. Next time you come down to your press squat, hang on there for a moment. Drive the knees out a little bit. Come back to center, bring the heels behind the toes, hands on hips, wide leg forward fold, extend forward. Lightly does it. This time when you're ready, shuffle your way to face the left. So you're walking your hands and your feet round. So your left foot is forward, right foot is back, but both sets of toes are facing forward with hips. Pyramid pose. Make it better balance if your feet are on tram lines here. Long legs. You can come up high, hands resting on thighs or a wall or a chair or anything. Or you can be all the way down anywhere in between. But don't lean on your hands. So even if you can get your hands to the floor, you should not be weight bearing into your hands. Let your feet do the work. Relax your neck and your shoulders if it's all right for your balance. One more breath. Lovely. We're coming back to the long edge of the mat. So rotate your back foot forward. Left foot stays to the left. Bend the left knee. Circle your right arm up and over, so you come straight up into warrior two. And if that feels like a transition you'd like to do, but you don't understand it when you're not looking, the video will be on YouTube. Warrior two. Sink in for a breath. Transitions are lovely to do, but there's no hurry to learn them. Extend back. Also, you can just do your own version. Reverse warrior. Inhale to center. Open it back up to the wide edge of the mat. Wide, wide. Weave your fingers together over your head. Bring your legs back under your hips. Palms turn up. Swaying palm. Exhale to the side. Lovely. Inhale to center. Exhale other side. Inhale to center. As you exhale, softly circle your hands down by your sides. If you would like to, pick up your right knee, weave your hands around the front of your shin, squeeze your right knee in towards your chest. Optional, you don't have to do this. Find your gazing point. We're doing this for a stretch, so use the wall if you need to. If you're able to, keep your left hand on your left shin and take your foot into your right hand, draw the leg back into dancer or your quad stretch. We're just coming into a quad stretch standing. Yeah, that's it. Left hand opens up towards the ceiling, and if you're familiar with dancer, it's your choice how much you open it up, but we are here for the quad stretch. So your choice. Lovely. When you're ready, take your time with all of this. Come back to center. You can go through staff if you want, and then release to center. Both feet down. All transitional postures. Pause, swing out if you need to. We'll do the other side. Take your left leg, weave your hands around your left shin, squeeze your left knee in towards your chest. You can do it. You've done it. We've done it a couple of times. We've done this posture in all versions today. If there's space, right hand keeps hold of the leg, left hand takes hold of the outer edge of the foot, draw the leg back. Take your time, put your foot down, arrange separately if you need to. Remember, it's a quad stretch, so you can do this lying on your front, leaning on a wall, and maybe open it up into as big a dancer as you're up for. Keep your eyes on your gazing point. When you're ready to release, release. You can go through staff if you wish, optional. Relax. Come back to center, feet under hips. We're going to loosen everything up. Weave your fingers together in front of you. 3 rounds of the earth sequence breathing before we lie back down again. So just a soft inhale, draw the hands up towards the throat, eyes closed. Exhale, bring the palms down towards the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. And exhale, circle wide. Just enjoy the feeling of both the feet steady on the floor. Weave the fingers together in front. Inhale, hands towards the throat. Exhale, hands press towards the ground. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out wide. Let it all go. Inhale, hands come up. This time, let's fold on our way down. Exhale, soft, soft forward fold. Hinge from the hips, bend the knees, come all the way down. And once you're down here, pause. I'm going to make our way down. So release the fingers towards the mat and just really gently start to walk your feet back. Lower the knees down and either roll or swizzle your way onto your back. However you normally get there, but try and keep that little wave of softness, internal focus there. Release to the mat. Knees bent back down. Arms come out wide, palms up. Arrange your feet into your favorite twist position. We have done loads of twisting, so you have it in you if you want to bring your knees to your chest, but that might not be your favorite position. Any position is fine. On an exhale with control, lower both sets of legs over to the side and then arrange yourself. Sometimes you go in a certain way and then you realize that that's not what you wanted, so take time. If you want to keep on the theme of lengthening through the legs, you can extend your top leg away from you, and if you can reach, you can hold on to that top leg. If you can't reach, then you don't need to. A lot of people just extend it because they like the feeling of the leg extended. And some people like to bring their bottom foot onto their top thigh, so there's a little cross in the legs. Next, so knees to the right. Turn your head to the left as long as your neck doesn't hurt. Make sure both shoulders are on the ground. If they're not, then your twist is too tight. You need to loosen it. As in, separate the knees. Maybe draw them down a little bit. Soften into the breath. So in this twist particularly, you can really feel the movement of the breath from the abdomen. Nice, long, comfortable breaths. When you're ready, you can, if you want to hold, you can hold. I'm going to make time for a rolling bridge before relaxation. So if you want to stay in your twist, stay here. If you're not bothered about the rolling bridge. Otherwise, restack your legs if they're tangled. And then ease your way back to center. Make sure that the spine is nice and long. And then exhale to lower the legs over to the other side with control. So remember, you can stay on your sides and have probably 5 or 6 breaths on each side and just skip the dynamic bridge. You've had no back bends, so I don't want to do anything intense because back bends are a bit much this time of the evening. Again, you can extend the top leg if you want, or you can cross over the legs if that gives you a better twist. Any version of a twist. Turn your head in the opposite direction. Make sure that your shoulders are down, chest is open. You need to always arrange your lower body to make sure that you're getting a good twist in your upper body. That is the part of the body that really benefits from twisting. Lovely stuff. So stay. If you're going for your longer twist, then stay. If you want the very gentle back bending, come back to center. Have the knees a little wider and the feet a little further away from the body, but the toes are pointing out. So knees, toes, and hips are in a diagonal line, but they're all lined up towards each other. Arms can stay wide or in any position you want, and just start to, with the breath, inhale to roll each vertebra up all the way up to the tops of the shoulders. So find a position that will allow you to do that. Sometimes you need a deeper, more closer to the body position. and then exhale to roll down. Allow each vertebra to get that ripple and the muscles in the back to get the massage against the floor. If you back bend very deeply, you are going to energize your body. So if you're really looking to unwind, I wouldn't do more than enough that you need for just oiling the joints and massaging the muscles. Maybe even just stick with pelvic rolls if you're worried about being away from it. I'm just going to do one more and then I'm going to settle for Shavasana. So this is a good time to check in. Have I got everything I needed and do I want to stay for the body scans? So wherever you are, if there's anything else that you need at the end of your bridge practice, take it and then find yourself ready in a comfortable position for body scan, relaxation, or if you need to get off and go to work or have dinner or anything, you can always come back to the recording before you go to bed and have your relaxation then. So you just find yourself in any comfortable position where your spine feels supported and long and your breath can flow freely. And there's a sense of being connected with the ground, a sense of groundedness, and come towards the earth practice now. 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Long and slow, let the weight of the body go. And perhaps just let the thoughts on the practice go, but let the body absorb all of the beautiful things, a really beautiful collection of postures. Let that stuff absorb. Doesn't matter what you think of them, they are beautiful postures. So you can just rest. You can tune out what I'm saying, but just stay with the rhythm of your own breath. But if you like to follow along, I'm just going to mention part of the body. And if you'd like to, you can take your attention to that part of your body and ask it to relax. The soles of the feet. The tops of the feet. The toes. The ankles. The shins. The calves. Backs of the knees. And fronts of the knees. The backs of the thighs. And fronts of the thighs. And backs of the hips. Just traveling smoothly all the way around to the fronts of the hips. Allow the lower abdomen, belly to become soft. and the arch of the lower back. Wrap around the waist and mid-abdomen. Give it permission to become soft. Feel the movement of the breath in the ribcage. Cover up the curve of the upper back, shoulder blades. Wrap around the chest and allow the front of the chest to soften so you can feel the rise and fall of the breath here too. All the way across the collarbone and the backs of the shoulders. And around the back of the neck and the tops of the shoulders. Traveling all the way down the arms, upper arms, elbows, forearms, letting them rest heavy for a little. Fingers and thumbs, and the palms of the hands, the tops of the hands. Let your wrists become soft. Maybe notice that soft, light tingle of sensation in your hands when you really let them relax. Just feel that blood circulation. See if you can draw that softness all the way back up the arms, across the fronts of the shoulders, into the neck, back of the neck and front of the neck. See if you can let your throat relax. Really let it go. Allow the jaw to soften. Maybe let the tongue rest behind the lower teeth. And allow the eyelids, cheeks, and lips to rest as light as clouds on your face. And allow the brow to become broad and smooth. The whole of the back of the body is relaxed, and the whole of the front of the body is relaxed. And let the mind just wander anywhere it wants to go. For the next few moments, just let it go while you rest. Start to gather your attention back in towards your body. Just take a moment to decide whether you are ready and have any desire to come out of your relaxation. It is not required. You can stay exactly where you are. If you'd like to, gently bring some movement to your fingers and your toes, ankles and the wrists. And in your own time, checking in with whether you need a stretch on the way. Just take a roll onto your side for a breath. There is no rush. And if you want to seal the practice with me, come up to a seat. And just take a moment to grow tall, and we're just going to have one breath to close. Hands down by the side, arms facing forwards, and as you inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands apart. Thank you. I hope all your joints feel done. Have a lovely Sunday evening.